Hello everyone, welcome back to my favorite time of the week. Talk about all these giant robot shows, the Mechanorn. And as always, I have Jared with me.
Hello.
Yep, hey, how's it going, man?
It is going good. In addition to the Gundam news, there was news about the Gundam origin, about the dub casting and the eventual release.
Oh yeah, it reminds me of like Unicorn when they did theirs. And they had all the different languages at once when it released. It's pretty cool.
hmm
And yeah, the trailer for that is really nice. Like, oh, I kind of want that right now, but then it's like, I guess I'm looking forward to, I guess.
Yeah, I've seen some of the books that the series is based off of, and those look really impressive. And just what I've heard and seen of Origin, I'm really looking forward to watching it.
Yeah, I think it's what I would say 90% Xeon story.
hmm
Yeah, that's really cool. I like how they're doing, kind of exploring that side of the world. But yeah, like last week we have Al No Zero season 2 Gundam and little Cross Ange at the end. But yeah, so we'll start with Al No Zero there.
All right, episode 2, The Beautiful Undamned Unearthly Neighbors. We have preparations for the first sort of major battle of the series, as we have the UFE forces gathering at the Trident base, and Sazbon, meanwhile, is rallying his forces for a quick strike on Trident. And then we see a little bit of some mecha preparations and such.
Right, and then, like it's weird they have this like asteroid like base where Earth is kind of set there. I guess their moon area, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, it was kind of funny that they have that up there. I'm like, oh, they have that there. So I guess in what a year and 6 months they built this, I guess, really high tech base inside of an asteroid. Like that's kind of almost feel like Star Wars to me. It's like, how do you build something like that so fast? But again, anime. We have to remember that.
Yeah, anime, it's alternate reality.
Right.
So yeah, we're gonna get these space battles that we were looking forward to last week. We see a scene with Lemrina talking to her grandfather, and basically, the way Lemrina talks about it afterwards is that she's basically lying and that she's pretty much in it for herself, and we see that in a scene with Slain that we'll talk about a little bit later.
Yeah, it almost makes it feel like season one with when Slane did the same thing. He was used the machine to teleport his image across to Mars and was talking to the king, whatever you want to call him, and
hmm
lied to him. And now she's doing the same thing, but like you said, she may be getting something out of it. Maybe the chance to finally be out of the castle. Because she was kind of floating around. She was like, "This is enjoyable to do that," because again, she's a character that's in a wheelchair, so maybe that freedom is something she's really looking forward to.
hmm And as we see in this scene where Slain and talks to Lemrina and tries to get her to activate the stuff with her technology, is that she seems like somebody that doesn't want to be in the shadow of her sister, and she thinks that everybody's right now is just being nice because of her all-knowing technology, and that she kind of in a way seeks more genuine approval from people other than just you're here and we like you, please activate this all-knowing technology so we can do what we want.
Yeah, I was gonna say that Slane, he's been around these Martians so long, he's kind of become this master manipulator. He knows how
hmm
to say certain words and get people to bend to his will and everything. Especially with her, he was just like, because she made a point blank statement to him, you like the princess, don't you? You're doing this just for her. And he's like, no, I'm not. Like, he basically lied to her to get what he wanted, and and she's doing the same thing. But it sounds like all these characters are like backstabbing each other, slowly, and it's like eventually it's gonna come back to them. But yeah, with the Luminaire chick, she's definitely either sees that he's attracted to the princess and is using that to her advantage. And like you
hmm
said, she doesn't want to be, because I think she's gonna figure out as soon as the other girl wakes up, I'm gonna be pushed to the side. They won't need me. So she's probably gotta make her, state, I guess, her presence known to everybody.
You can almost see her downfall from here in
Right.
episode 2.
Yeah.
And Slain kind of made it seem like, oh, I was just like you, and um, so meanwhile, with Inaho, we see him using his Robo Eye, Robo Inaho. He's looking at Asalem's speech pattern and finding that it's not off, and therefore kind of leading Inko to, he shows that to Inko and it makes them believe that that's not really a Salem there. But he's just kind of being a jerk, looking at her weight, like, oh, you put on some weight recently. Like, you are a robot because you're certainly a respectable human male would know not to say that in front of a girl.
Yeah, I mean, and even in season one, he was, a little bit machine-like as well. He was
Hmm.
just cold, that kind of way. And yeah, with her, I guess it might be a way him like he's messing around, but yeah, he's, like you said, he's not very tactile. He says to certain people,
Hmm.
and
Yeah, I think
yeah,
that's the thing about what we saw in the first episode. We thought, oh, he's going to be a little bit more talkative now, but the way that it feels like it's going to be with him is that he's just going to keep kind of spouting off stuff, and he's going to use his eye to make a lot of different points, and that's the way that he'll be more talkative. The emotion, it's not going to be there, but he's certainly going to have things to say now.
yeah, they're definitely gonna make us not forget the fact that he's got this mecha eye, and that
Hmm.
maybe losing. We don't really know how much of his brain he actually lost, or if he lost any at all. But maybe it's going to tell us that, well, this is going to help him, like you said, communicate, even though it maybe not be, like casual conversations, more going to be like militarized chat,
Hmm.
and like, even when he was calibrating his eye, he was like telling about this, the program's off, I got to do this, that, and he can
Yeah.
detect things with it, so it's like, it almost gives him, like you said, almost a crutch to talk to people, like they're forcing him to talk to people now with this.
It makes like talking points for
Yeah,
Inoho.
exactly.
And we get to the first battle. What I feel like that thing with the ice, that wasn't even really a battle. That's why I'm calling this like the first battle.
Hmm.
So we see the farces out there, and everybody's kind of struggling because there's wind happening, and therefore they're not able to hit their shots. They're just kind of almost kind of just kind of shooting, hoping something hits. But Slane, they show it in a way that he's able to see the trajectory of his shots and how the wind will affect it. So they kind of show these things where it looks like his shots are curving and it's able to almost hit some stuff.
Yeah, I can definitely see.
Actually hit.
Yeah, like you're saying, it actually hits. I can actually see the Gundam influence on this heavily, with the new types are the same. They can, like we've seen experience with that. They can see an attack coming. They know to go to the left a little, dodge the missile. And Inoho kind of like uses his eye to his advantage, and they can calculate all these I guess mathematical problems in his head and figures it
Hmm.
out where to shoot. But also, I've heard complaints when people, even in the first episode when they came back, talking about wind, how there's no wind in space,
Yeah.
obviously. But in this one, it's like, oh well, they threw it in there again. I was just kind of like, you gotta turn my mind off on that. It's a
Hmm.
mecha. I got ignore it. But yeah, it was definitely cool seeing him do that. But also at the same time, it was like the other people, like, why did they even need them? Let Inoue do the whole thing by himself. Honestly, that's how I feel.
Hmm. Yeah.
But whatever.
That's this episode in the whole on a whole. I feel like it was a little better than the first one, but
Hmm.
I still feel very unsure of the series going forward. I feel like there's potential. It'll never quite get up to the quality that we saw in the first season, which I thought was good, but I think it's heading in an area where I don't know if it can recover from, this bad first episode and all that.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. For me, Inoue borderlines, a little bit of Kirito from Sword Art. He
Hmm.
doesn't really. I mean, he uses the other people, but the other characters don't get to do anything. It's when Inoue is on screen, the focus is on him. And he's gonna do this awesome, like, unbelievable move that can defeat these, Martians who have clearly the superior technology than what he has. But yeah, I feel kind of like if they make the other characters do a little bit more than let Inoue do it all, then they can save it. But if it's gonna be constantly like this, then it probably won't be.
Hmm. Because he's just a dull character. There's just not really much interesting about him. And the question that I ask then is, who else is? And I don't know if there's any characters that are that strong enough that would be interesting to sort of take on more of a lead role in an episode here or there. So,
Yeah, the only
um,
one I can focus on for is maybe Slane, because he's doing something. He's got a goal. He wants to do.
mhm,
He's got something in mind. But again, if you look at him like as a character by himself, can he carry the show by himself? Not really.
mhm,
Inaho, same
no,
thing. He couldn't carry it by himself either. You need these other characters to kind of jump in and do things. But that's why I'm gonna complain with the battle. It's just
mhm,
just sitting back, kind of relaxed, just pulling the trigger and talking to himself. While everyone else is just kind of freaking out, like, oh my god, we can't hit anything. He's just over there like, calm and cool, like nothing's bothering him.
yeah. Some extra stuff from this episode. We have an opening theme sung by the same artist that did the more popular ending from the first season, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I like that one. And it's like a lot of scenes of like Inaho with the princess and the princess with Slane. And it's just like blatantly obvious. They're just like, oh, yep, she has a connection to both these characters. So it's like, if she wakes up, I just don't want it to be some corny thing where she wakes up and everyone stops fighting. Slane
Hmm.
stops fighting, Inaho stops fighting, and you have to meet her. And I don't know, this is going to be I think, a bad Kogias to me. That they're just going to use her as this figurehead. But yeah, the opening of the song itself is pretty good. Really good.
Hmm. We saw Inho use his Robo Eye for both, light stuff and in battle. Um, Slane was a master trickster lying to Lamrina about being loyal to her, about not being loyal.
Right. Yeah.
And then the the Magbarej, and I forget that girl's name.
Oh, that girl.
They have that meeting. That
Again.
the joke is it's forced.
Dead, dead. Yeah.
It just really doesn't fit. And when you're expecting it,
Yeah.
it loses that humor. So
Right. I was sitting there watching the whole scene. I'm like, wait for it, wait for it. Oh, there it is. Like,
mhm,
thank you.
yeah,
Thanks for that line. You.
it's like Ikuhara is like, hey, settle down on the repeat stuff. Um,
Right.
for anybody that watches Yurikumi Arashi,
It'd be
uh,
like, I could see those two fighting like in their mech battle, and the other girl loses an arm, and she's like, "That's why you can't get a date" or something. Like, come on, it's not
yeah.
the appropriate time. The one thing I
Uh,
would say with Inho, I'm like, if he can scan people like that, like, can he do like X-ray, like, see through people's clothes? Like, it's like
yeah,
that's a feature
too,
he probably would not install, but who knows?
that might be too overpowered. They might have to nerf his eye.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So it's like,
But
yeah. Go ahead.
but now Inaho and Slane, they
Oh
know
yeah,
each
that's right.
other and they acknowledge like, okay, that was the guy in the pilot
That
in
part was just
orange.
so cheesy, but it's so
It
funny
was.
though. They're both like at the same time slaying, like they're saying each other's name. Like, wow, this is like action movie crap right here. Just, before they kill each other, they I know your name, like, and then they realize, oh, we went to school together or something like that. Maybe some kind of anime cliche.
Hmm.
That'd be funny if they did. I hope they don't do that where they were like really young childhood friends or something, because they're both from Earth. So I'm like, I hope not.
Yeah, but it was just that thing where the show needed to almost establish this is a rivalry now. They know each other and they don't like each other. And whenever they're on the battle, they're going to be looking for each other.
Yeah, like
Uh,
they made the comment that they could repaint his and his mech. He's like, no, leave it this way. It's my,
mhm.
I guess, signal to the enemy. But the last thing I was gonna say, I was kind of surprised they did confirm that Slane's dad did die. Yeah, so I'm
Mhm.
like, I was always curious about that. If that's why Slane was still with the military, like they had his dad captive, but now this confirms it. No, he's doing this all on his own. He's not being, held by something over his head or
Uh-huh.
anything. So.
And we won't see him in the future. So yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And that's it for All Know Zero.
Yep. Decent episode. For right now, I'm just gonna look at it and just turn my mind off and watch it and just enjoy it for an action series right now. So.
Yeah. And that's kind of the bad thing because I thought in the start it was pretty good and had a level of intellectuality to it. And when we were talking about how it was very monster of the week-ish, it was still developing a pretty good story around that stuff, but we still have yet to see if it's going to do anything like that or, in my opinion, just improve in general. in this
Yeah,
second season.
I think the mystery element's probably what's dead right now in there. Season two,
Hmm.
there's really no mystery of what's gonna happen. So it's like because we right now there's kind of cut and paste where Slane is leading the Martian army and Inaho is leading the other army. So it's like just these two kids' story basically for them.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. But enough of that one. Now we're gonna build fighters. Try episode 14, Worthy Rivals, and just from the title you can kind of guess what it's mainly about. But yeah, it jumps back from the last fight with I guess William, yeah, Wilson, whatever his name was.
Yeah, Wilfred.
Yeah, Wilfred
Wilfred.
and Sekai kind of doing their fight, and both of them declaring each other rivals to each other, and that's kind of where that ends, and they kind of go their separate ways. And I guess that was officially the last day of the training camp, so they kind of go back to their old area. So that's pretty interesting.
Hmm. And kind of see like some like goodbyes, and Wilfred kind of interested in Sekai, so they're now like pumped up to face each other at nationals.
Right, and even his little sister, which was revealed that was this little silver-haired girl, blue-haired girl, Shia.
Yeah.
So I guess she upgraded his Sekai's gunpla because she wanted to see a good fight, and he asked her about it. And he was like thankful for it because he found a rival now. So now he has a new goal. So it's almost like everyone on that team kind of saw Sekai and they have their sights on him. Besides the
Hmm.
muscle-bound guy who, in my opinion, is not a high schooler. He looks like he's like easily college or something, but that's what Gundam does, I guess.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, even Hoshino, which doesn't look like a high schooler, but maybe could be in real life. But yeah, her design doesn't really leave that much up.
Hmm. Yeah, I was just thinking about that. There was something where Yuma went up to what's that big guy's name?
Uh,
That was his rival, but he was saying, Kosaka Yuma, that's the name of the man that's going to defeat you. Or he's like 13, 14 years old, saying
right.
he's a man.
I'm a man. I'm gonna do that guy like probably 25 or something. It's like okay,
Yeah.
that kind of reminded me of maybe G Gundam. I mean, I think they used a lot of things where the main character would say, I Domo or beat you or something like that. So maybe it's
Yeah.
like a shout out to that, but it was kind of weird. Like it was like because he saw, Sekai had a rival, almost like he was a little jealous, I think, and so he
Hmm.
ran to the guy and declared, "Oh, you want to beat you?" I'm like, okay, that was kind of weird. And so yeah, like you said, all the goodbyes. So the all characters going their separate ways, going back to their homes to, I guess, train. But in this case, is upgrading your gunpla, which is, I guess, a nice little montage they had of the three of them and the Tri Fighters kind of coming together and working together and helping each other out and building their suits.
Hmm.
And I guess we learned that there are also other teams that are still qualifying. There's 10 days to the national tournament, so there's interesting stuff going on with that. Especially the reveal that Minato was like helping another team with a gunpla. So actually, he's actually going to participate, but he's not really going to fight. I guess he's just a builder, which is fine.
Hmm. Hmm.
And while the training montage is going on, we have Mirai kind of stuck in it all between all this, and she's. I guess Sekai originally arrived at the house. She was, I guess, expecting to be alone with him, and here's Yuma and Hoshino kind of tagging along. And
Hmm.
she's like, "Oh,
And
I made curry."
yeah, and so she's kind of being like the mom, just giving them stuff to eat while they're working on their gunpla.
Yeah, that's pretty funny just seeing her. Just like she was kind of like disappointed, but after a while she kind of got, like you said, used to it. Maybe it was acting like more like a mom, like you said. Even
Hmm.
going as far as that letting them stay over because they had Hoshino. She was kind of passing out and he let her sleep there. So it's kind of funny just seeing that,
Yeah.
just that part of the show, I guess. And then actually going to a festival, which we didn't really see. They kind of sped through it, but they did some other
Hmm.
things besides just building all the time. It almost
Yeah.
makes me wonder how long were they actually there?
Yeah, maybe it could have been just like a couple days, maybe like a long weekend. And if they were, wearing yukatas, it was probably Tanabata, so you could think like it was mid-July, July 7th.
Right, yeah, that could be it, yeah. And we had all that. It was pretty funny watching that. Just it was different than the battle all the time. So we get to see them
Hmm.
kind of kick back a little bit, but even though they're
Yeah.
super serious with the upgrades.
Yeah, a little bit of growth and a little bit of Yuma realizing he took apart Build Burning, and he was looking at all the parts and realizing, it was like Sayori built it, and realizing that the gun the Gundam Battle Academy has some really elite builders.
Right, he's just like everyone in there is just so intense. That's what I would say is the way to
Hmm.
describe that team. They're just all very aggressive, except Shia, which we haven't really seen fight. But I wouldn't be surprised if she's just like the other two characters.
Yeah.
And while that's going on, Mirai still doing her job at like being the model. And I guess she's kind of like, walks in with one of her friends that won that tournament that she first participated in the race. And I guess they're talking and she kind of gets sick. And, I guess they reveal that she's pregnant. And I'm like thinking to myself, okay, this is marketed towards, a younger audience, which is obvious. So I'm like,
Hmm.
isn't that a bit, would that be a bit much? I mean, they didn't exactly say she was pregnant, but I mean, she did say congratulations. Mirai said it, so it's like, I don't know, I'm like, I almost feel it's a little too much for a kid's show, but I don't know.
Yeah. And it's weird because what does it really add? Just all of a sudden, this woman that we saw in one episode is throwing up and, having sickness. So then that's when Mirai, of course, realizes, oh, she's actually pregnant. So that's the confusion I have about that scene is what is its addition to the show?
I think it's because she won that contest, so now
Hmm.
Mirai, because she
Yeah.
was in second, will probably be the new model spokesman for the Gunpla tournament. So
Oh.
that kind of gives her a reason to actually go and be there. And I guess kind of like a story standpoint, I guess it works. But again, the pregnant
Hmm.
thing, they could have done something else where maybe she broke an arm, broke a leg, or maybe she couldn't do it. But yeah,
Or
it was a
just in
little weird.
general got sick.
Right, or General got maybe like the cliche anime thing. Oh, I got sick for the thing. You must fill my spot. That whole thing. But yeah,
Hmm.
they didn't come out like and they didn't come out and say, "Oh, you're pregnant." So, but it's just fine. I mean, they're all. I imagine they're all adults watching the show, obviously, because it is Gundam. So marketed towards different audiences. And I guess she was gonna tell Sekai that, but all of them are kind of passed out, and even more people
Hmm.
showed up. She was kind of surprised that two more people showed up. So it was like five people in the one room. She's just like, wow, this is a little much.
Hmm.
But it was pretty good. And we get a reveal of the last character. I guess he's this England fighter from Europe named Lucas Nemesis, which I remember him after I saw him. He in season 1 he was this little kid who I guess his grandpa was like the owner of this tournament area, and he promised his grandson, if they win, I'll give you the trophy for your birthday present. And I guess one of the girls that was in the fight took it as like that's kind of a crappy way to win. It's like I'm winning this for me, not for you. And I guess she
Hmm.
basically told him if you want to win something, do it yourself. And I guess that kind of stuck with him. So 7 years later, he's this pro fighter. So I'm like, that's cool, I guess. But his name makes me laugh though, Lucas Nemesis. It's just
Yeah, that is a funny name, and I guess I don't know much of him because I haven't watched season one yet. But I guess the point of bringing him in is kind of showing that Gunpla is popular in different parts of the world.
right. That and maybe since it's like I'm assuming he was 10 at the time, that would make him 17 now. But maybe showing that it stuck with him so long. So it's like I guess they're showing you Gunpla is like it sticks with you. Maybe once you're into it, you just can't really give it up if you're
Hmm.
really excited for it.
Oh yeah.
And it might be them hinting that old characters from season 1 might be coming back because they're showing him. So I know the opening did kind of hint that maybe Lori will maybe appear again. Hopefully,
Ah.
we'll see, but you never know. And the last bit I would say is Hoshino versus Gyanko. I mean, it happened earlier in the episode, but it was pretty funny. I mean, he's sitting there with Gyanko, or yes, that guy's with her, and she's helping him fix his suit, and Hoshino walks in and kind of gets mad. So they are hinting heavily that Hoshino does have some sort of feelings for Sekai. Maybe she's overprotective or something, but she's definitely like worried about him when he gets near any other girl. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. It was just yeah, it was kind of another fun rivalry and another opportunity to make Hoshino get a little jealous of somebody being pretty close to Sekai, but then coming together and working and all of them just sleeping when
Yeah.
Mirai came back.
I thought it was funny when that the boxer kid, I forgot his name, but he walks in and he sees
Hmm.
Sekai and Yoshino kind of sitting there like they don't like they're watching these two girls just argue and just like completely wore out. Like, yeah, we're just watching them. It makes me tired. It's pretty funny. And so what do you think of this episode?
This episode was pretty fun, considering that there was no Gunpla action, actually. It was a nice, we've been talking about like the bridge between the the finals previously and now the national tournament. So this was kind of fun to, we get to see a lot of different characters together. Got to saw some stuff with Shia talking to Wilfred about building their Gundams and her working on her own Gundam that she's going to be using in the tournament, and just seeing the continued steps toward camaraderie between the the Tri Fighters. It was overall an enjoyable episode.
Yeah, I almost forgot that she was like upgrading the other two suits too, and she still hasn't revealed what she's gonna be using. But yeah, it's kind of cool seeing that. And like you said, the teams are definitely you can definitely see the which team's gonna be the big ones to watch out for. Obviously, the Academy because they've got a lot of focus these last 3 episodes, and the Tri Fighters obviously. So kind of cool seeing that they actually may have that real rivalry going on. As far as Hoshino goes, I'm not sure who she's rivaled with, but I mean she's obviously rivals with any girl that gets near Sekai, so it's kind of that sets it all up for everyone. But yeah, for extras, the new opening, I think it was last week they had it too, but I think I forgot to mention it. But this new opening's kind of cool, with a lot of flashy scenes of like the couple of suits fighting each other, and just really nice animation and good song. I think it's the same people from the first opening. So.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, it did sound a little different. Maybe it's different. But yeah, I like that one. Like I said, a lot of cool visuals and hints of old faces, new faces coming in this next half. So hopefully that comes out here soon. And again, Lawyer was mentioned a few times. They didn't really exactly say I think it said his name once. I know. I think Wilfred said his name when he was watching Sekai in the beginning. That his suit reminds him of that one that Lori built. So it's like it's the same one. So I hope we see Lori again. Maybe he's in the tournament. Maybe he's the final character you gotta fight to win the tournament. We'll see.
Oh yeah.
It'd be kind of nice. And Shia, watching her just talk to Wilfred was kind of cute. She's just a short little girl that I wouldn't think much about her, but she's kind of fun to watch, I guess. And she's very mysterious. I can't wait to see how she battles, if she's super aggressive when she fights or just the same as she is now.
Yeah, definitely.
And the last thing I mentioned is Sugata's character. You mentioned he was talking to the three creepy little kids, and he was just like, "Do you guys know who I am?" They're just like, they completely forgot about him. He's just overreacting and everything, and just the best role for him as the voice actor. Just he's made for those type of roles that just freak out and get mad or very comical.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see him and a good cast choice. So I hope we see more of him. And I think next week is the start of the tournament, which is like that's kind of fast, but that's fine, I guess.
Yep. Yeah, and when we're talking, the first episode of that tournament will have been released. So I think the build fighters are gonna get their shot next time.
Yeah, if not, we'll be seeing some other teams, maybe some of the other hard fighters that we'll be surprised about, and maybe Minato would show up and be like, "Oh, I'm here too," and be something silly like that. But yeah, overall,
yeah,
it's a good episode. Look forward to the next one, and kind of makes it a little sad because I know we're like halfway there to the finish. So I'm like, oh, think about 10 more episodes, or 11 or 10 more episodes. Kind of a little sad, but at the same time, kind of get your fingers crossed. Maybe they might do another third season or maybe a movie. Would be nice. So
yeah, I could see that.
And yep, that's pretty much Build Fighters. So we're talking about Cross Ange. Time for Cross Ange, episode 15, The Other Earth. So basically, this kind of jumps up with Tusk, Ange, and Vivian kind of being taken away to this, I guess, dragon race people, whatever they call them. I think they're called Dragonites or Dragon something. But they basically take those three to the castle to be, I guess, sort of interrogated by their group, which is kind of interesting. But the high priest there was kind of you didn't see her face, so you don't know what she looks like. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Ange's real mom or something like that, because this show's has a habit of doing random surprises like that. So don't be too surprised if they actually reveal that later. So because they kind of kept her in the hidden, she was hidden. There was just nothing but shadows, so you don't know who she really is. So and Vivian meets not Vivian, sorry. Ange meets the pilot that shot her at Azrael. I guess she has black hair. I don't know who she's name is. Salamandra, yeah, Salamande, and she basically, I guess, kind of gloats at, you're here, we got your prisoner, and I want to keep your, I guess, tusk with us and do all this other stuff to him, because I guess he's rare, which is fine. I guess he's just special. So, after that, they get some hospitality. The Salamandre kind of just gives them some tea and tries to, make them feel comfortable, but Ange kind of turns on her and attacks her and try to take her hostage, which kind of was confusing, because it's like, well, I guess if you want to get away, you could do that, but I don't know, it's kind of like, don't you want to just get the information out of her first before you try that? That's how I would think. And yeah, so they try to do that, but Salamonde just kind of goes with her and gets away and just takes her to this, I guess, abandoned building where they talk about, I guess, what happened to the dragons. It's pretty funny, but also kind of weird at the same time, but whatever. So they, I guess, reveal that, I guess, a bunch of, I don't know how far along it was, I guess, obviously 500 years later, or whatever they want to say, I guess the humans had to evolve, so that's why in this world, there are these hybrid dragon humans walking around and flying around. And they also reveal that all the big dragons are actually the males of their race, and so I guess this tells you, I guess, what's going on. That the big dragons they've been killing since the start of Cross Age, they're basically the males. And the little dragons that are regular pink little dragons, I guess they're like, child dragons that haven't really learned how to change back into a human form. Just like Vivian, which is the reason why they brought her in, to show you that maybe the dragons, when they're that young, they can't change back and forth that easily. But there's some scientists there at this dragon area that helped Vivian, I guess, change back to human form, so I guess she can stay that way from now on and not worry about having to be turning back to a dragon. But the reveal of her story was, I guess she, as a young baby, baby dragon, she kind of was chasing after her mom, or something like that, under another dragon, and she was just, I guess, really young, a tiny little dragon, and she went through the vortex portal thing to the other dimension, and she got stuck there, and they found her. But the other thing I'm confused on is, how did she turn to a human if she really had no knowledge of how to do that? But I guess they're just going to do that because if she was a dragon the whole time, that wouldn't make sense. But anyway, yeah, Vivian is doing a little bit more this episode. He even goes so far as to meet her real biological mom, which Vivian was kind of confused on. She doesn't know what a mom is, which makes sense. I mean, if she isn't, I'm not going to say she's stupid, but I mean, she's not really the brightest girl, but that's nothing against her. She's fine. But during all that, we learned that there was one dragon, like a origin dragon, named, let me find the name. Aura was the name of the dragon. And I guess that was the origin of all the dragon power in their world. So, and I guess in the beginning, when Ange sees this big dragon being in the frozen cube thingy, or block of ice, she didn't realize at the time, but that was the dragon Aura that they took from the other girl's dimension, and that's why the dragons have been appearing in this world, because they're trying to get their, I guess you want to say, maybe she's like the queen. So they're trying to get maybe the queen back, and they can't get her back, so that's why the dragons have been appearing in Ange's world, so that makes, kind of guess the story a complete circle of what's going on. Where the dragons come from, why they are coming to her world, and, what they really are. So, I mean, I would say they've done a good job of, at least wrapping that up, and that story part is probably done. But yeah, and so the other reveal is Aura was taken to the capital city where Ange is from, and they are basically using it as a power source, and that's why everyone has magic abilities and all that, because the embryo also did some stuff experiments too. So they have Aura kind of as this big battery, and they're slowly sapping her. They did give it a word, Dragonum, which is a made up, obviously mineral. So they're using that as they're pulling it off the dragon and slowly draining it. So, and Salamander was basically saying, if we take that away, your world probably is gonna get, pretty screwed. Which, in my opinion, would make everybody the same. Everyone would probably be a Norma and lose their magic powers, which is kind of interesting, but also kind of silly at the same time. But I guess if everyone was using the dragon as a power source, that makes sense. If it's the origin dragon that created all the dragons, then yeah, why not? So I guess the new goal is for Salamander to go back to Ange's world and take the dragon back, which is what they want to do, and fight Embryo. The Embryo is an enemy to their world and their race as well. So, but at the same time, Ange doesn't really believe in this crap, and she's kind of still wanting to fight and go against these people. And at the same time, just like, why don't you just help them out? You get back to your world and just move on. But it makes you think that maybe she's gotten so used to being this war of the humans versus dragons, the Norma and all that, and she just, that's all she knows, and she kind of likes it. Maybe doesn't want to lose that, but at the same time, she's also thinking that their world's kind of peaceful. There's no war. So it's like, at the same time, she could stay in that dragon world and just live there forever and just not go back to her original world because there's really nothing there for her. Her family doesn't really care for her, but maybe she wants to be the hero and save everyone. I don't know. And, while we have all that cool story and that great stuff going on, there are some silly derp stuff. I mean, there's a moment where Tusk is, I guess, naked and strapped down to a table and all these girls are watching him. And they're learning about, I guess, sexual stuff with Tusk, and it was just kind of silly. I mean, I did laugh, I'll admit, but overall it was kind of dumb. And yeah. So they had that going on, and Ange kind of gets mad at him and whatever. But, it's fine. She's Ange, that's how she is. And that's pretty much what happened in the episode. They haven't revealed what they're going to do next with Ange. Maybe I hope she joins the Dragon Girls and fights back, but we'll see how that goes down. And as far as extra, learning about sex with Tusk was kind of funny. Like I said, I did laugh, but overall it was kind of stupid. And he gets kind of abused by Ange later, and it's like, he really did nothing wrong, so I don't see the reason why she should do that to him, but whatever. It's just, like I said, that's how she is. The Dragon Knights, their outfits are pretty revealing and pretty nice to look at. I will admit that they're nice, so they're pretty nice. And again, the story stuff's good, but overall, the comedy was kind of just hit and miss for me. Like, it's funny, but not really.